Hello and welcome to Clipping In. Sunday the 26th of November. It's going to be cold. You might want to grab an extra jumper for this one. It's the final weekend in November. A bright, frosty start. Probably a little warmer than yesterday. I'm guessing now it's about +1°C. I'm heading out to Woolley and Staincross on the edge of Barnsley for a nice, scenic 40-miler. Starting the long climb up to Netherton. Entering Netherton now. Mini roundabout. Straight across. You can see quite a bit of salt on the roads. They gritted, I think, Thursday night, certainly Friday night and Saturday night. Might be okay for traction, but terrible for frames. You can see the flood signs are still out. Only 3 or 4 days ago there were waterlogged roads and seepage lines everywhere. So then when it swings from that kind of weather to a hard frost, a lot of the back lanes are a little bit dicey. That's why I tend, even if you set off late, if you pick a back lane that's in shade, overhung by trees, that was flooded a few days earlier, you've got to hope for the best. Whereas I'll try to pick wider roads that are well drained, that have sunshine where possible, and also routes that get gritted, just for peace of mind. Alright. The skyline there, the Woolley Edge. Got to climb up to that. And you might be able to see Woolley Edge services on the M1 just to the left there with the trucks parked up. There's a strange new road layout with one-way system being introduced, so hopefully everyone knows where they're meant to be going. Yeah. Theoretically, turning right on a bike was always tricky in the past, because you might meet cars coming in this direction. Now that shouldn't happen. But with it being new, just not quite sure for a bit. I did the same circuit on Friday, Saturday, and now today, Sunday. Friday because I wanted to. Saturday because the back lanes that I was going to ride were so icy, I thought it was safer to pick this known quantity. And then today, thought I'd film it. But it makes me think a bit about repetition, which I've touched on before, and what we mean by repetition, because, well, there's the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus, who was probably best known for the phrase relating to you can't stand in the same river twice, because the water is forever changing, the currents are forever changing, and you as a human being, you're evolving, you're in a constant state of flux. And so you may very well stand in the same spot, but it's not the same experience. And I feel a bit like that with some of my favourite circuits. The Stainforth Penny Ghent one is an example, because if I ride that once a month, it's never the same ride each time, for reasons that we've mentioned, because the landscape is alive and the weather's constantly changing, and my perception's changing too. Ancient Greek philosophers. You're getting everything on clipping in. Just touching Staincross, and I'll be going left on the Wakefield Road. I'm officially in South Yorkshire. Whoopee! This is the main Barnsley to Wakefield Road via New Miller Dam, passing Sandal Castle. Back in West Yorkshire. About a mile from New Miller Dam now. And in the early 2000s, that was a popular cafe. I think it was called the Woolley, on the waterfront. And yeah, for Saturday rides, we always seem to end up either at New Miller Dam, Holmfirth, or Langsett. Tea and toasted tea cakes. Those are the days. Left here. Climbing out of Criggleston or Chapelthorpe, I don't know the difference, on Stoney Lane, which after this mini roundabout certainly kicks up. It's got 14% gradient on the sign, but I'll have to have a look at GPS and see what the maximum points are. Galloping along here with too much tea and toasted tea cakes was never a good idea. It steepens up. After that yellow sign, there's a left-hand bend. That's the part where I'll need a lower gear. Okay, too low now. Never mind, it's winter. This is the part that stings. Right. Catch my breath. And now it's changed its name to Intake Lane. But it makes me think a bit about repetition, which I've touched on before. Quick stop to check on the new Enduro battery, still over 60% in these temperatures and with quite a bit of filming. And of course, time for some brown Kendal mint cake. Ho ho ho! Heading down to Horbury Bridge. Back into Calderdale. Heading into the, I would say, final 6 or 7 miles now. Climbing from Murfield to Robertstown. Just keep it nice and steady. It's been a good ride. Quite a bit of variety in the terrain. Lots to see. I'd say yesterday the long distance views out to power station country, out to that sort of Doncaster Selby plain. Yesterday the long distance views were better. But no, today, for late November, good conditions, good cycling. And on the subject of repetition, it's just about time for me to sign off from this edition of Clipping In. I think it's been a good ride, and on these cold, frosty mornings, I feel a lot better doing consecutive 40-milers than trying to take on a big 100-miler when the temperatures just aren't rising. Knocks a lot out of me, causes me bronchial problems and all the rest. Whereas these 40-milers are much more manageable. Also at the moment, we have less than 8 hours between sunrise and sunset. So that's another advantage for doing the short to medium rides. What I'll do for this edition of Clipping In, I'll say goodbye for now and see you very soon back out on the Yorkshire roads. Bye bye.